Hello and welcome. On this episode of Abby Normal Garage, we continue working on the snow tractor. This is part 3 of this tractor. Today we're going to fabricate the brackets to mount the wheels on the blower. We got a big snowstorm supposedly coming on Sunday, so we got to get this done. Let's get to it. Are you excited to be working on the snow tractor for 3 days now? Okay, well, let's hop right into it. So we got one of the skis off the snow blower. This backing plate appears to be made out of 3/16. I don't have any 3/16, so we're going to end up making it out of quarter. I don't want to use the actual skis to build my brackets off of, because if I ever want to sell the snow blower, they might want the original skis. So let's go ahead and follow Abby over here. And let's go take a look at the Abby Normal Garage scrap pile. Here's a piece of quarter that I think we can use, so we'll take that. And here's a piece of 5/8. I think we're gonna 5/8 rod we can use. And here's a nice piece of strap steel we can use. Okay. Our piece is precisely 4 inches wide. So we will take a mark off of this edge. Scribe a line there. Scribe a line there. We'll mark it out with our soapstone. Alright. It's 3 1/4 tall. We've got 7 1/2 inches to play with. So 3 1/4, that's 6 1/2. So we could do like 3 3/4. We'll try the Sharpie on this. Abby, go ahead and hit the button for the build montage. Here we are marking out the slots using the existing ski. Now we're on the fabrication table cutting our squares out. We follow this up by drilling holes in our slots. Then we're going to go ahead and use the plasma cutter to connect them. It's easier to start the plasma cutter in a hole than it is to try to plunge cut. We're using an Eastwood 60 amp. I think we have it set on like 25 amps right now. We've had this unit for a couple years. It's been pretty good to us. In between cuts, we had to beat off the slag so the piece would lay flat. We follow up cutting the slots with this 5-inch air grinder. We use this to dress the edges of the plate and knock the mill scale off. Now our slots weren't smooth, so we ended up dressing them up with this carbide cutter. This uses 1/4-inch carbide burrs and does a really good job. We then follow this with a quick blow off. Alright, so we're back out here. We got our workbench kind of cleaned up, shop swept up. Went out and got Abby back in the shop for her opinions. We usually don't keep her in the shop when we're doing a lot of plasma cutting or welding, just because, you know, we like Bruce Springsteen when he's not political, but I don't want to be singing Dogs on Fire tonight. So anyway, We got our pieces here, and we went ahead and measured this mark, or the bottom of our adjustment, with it all the way up, is 1 1/8 inch off the ground. So what we want to try to do is put our wheels to where they're about the bottom of the plate. That'll give us about 3/4 clearance all the way up, and then we can adjust it from there. So we're using a 10-inch wheel, and I went ahead and already measured it. The center of the axle is a true 5 inches off the ground. So to get what we want, we can go 5 inches up from the bottom of the plate, and that'll put our wheel right at the bottom of the plate. Now, of course, we got to have some space to weld our axle, so I'm thinking we're going to end up going about 5.5 inches above the plate, which is about here. So our piece that we need to make is less than 2 inches up from the top of the plate. But there's an added complication. So right above this on the actual snowblower is where the bearings mount for the auger. So we actually have to bend this up so it sticks up away from the plate about 1 inch. So what I came up with is we're going to need a minimum of 3 inches of steel. So I'm going to go ahead and measure up 1 inch, bend this, and kind of hold it up as a visualization to see what I think. Okay, so it's still hot, so we're not going to touch it all nice and close, or at least down here. But we've decided that we're going to cut it right there. And we're going to weld it on this plate about here. And then to give it some rigidity up here, we're going to take this 3/4 rod, slide it under there, and we'll weld it top and bottom as best as we can. And that should make it plenty sturdy. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. We'll measure up 1 inch. We'll bend another one of these, and we'll be right back. We got our pieces cut. This is about what it's going to look like. Space is up off of this about 1 inch. We're going to weld this 3/4 piece to that and the plate. That'll provide reinforcement for this. And then the axle is going to go ahead and go like that, and then the wheel will slide onto that. So, with all that being said, Abby, go ahead and hit the welding montage, and we'll see you guys on the table. We first start by welding the inside, then we flip it over and weld the outside. Now we're going to go ahead and tack the 3/4 piece in and weld it in for good. A lot of places to tack on this. Here we are tacking the axle. Now we moved our clamp and burned it in. Now we're doing the plug weld on the back. Bada bing, bada boom. Are you okay? That's not the face of happiness. You want to get cooking on that spaghetti, don't you? I bet. Yeah, you do. Hold on, let's bring people up to speed. Here's the finished product of our welding. We got the pieces finished. They look pretty good. The weld quality's good. We ended up drilling through this plate and then welding around the perimeter, and then going ahead and doing a plug weld on the back side. Looks pretty good. All the welds look good. Well, through the magic of YouTube, the next time you see it, it'll be on the tractor and painted. And just like magic, our tires are on, it's adjusted, the chute's on, Look at that, Abby. We went ahead and adjusted it to have about a half-inch of clearance from the ground. Abby, stop. Well, Abby, let's go ahead and take care of that chute crank bracket. We're going to go ahead and cut a piece that'll go around this shaft, and we'll tack it to this upright here. To do that, we're going to use this weldable steel. I'd really hate to see unweldable steel. We're going to go ahead and drill us a half-inch hole there. We'll then cut it out, we'll round it off, then we'll go ahead and tack it on. Alright, here's our beautifully crafted piece. We're going to go ahead and weld this in real quick. We ain't got a lot of time to dilly. It's supposed to start storming tomorrow. So we'll be right back. Wow! It fits perfectly. Monumental improvement is all I can say. Yeah, it's a monumental improvement. I like it. Well, Abby, what do you think? I think we got our snow tractor done, and we also got the plow on the box tractor. So I think we're pretty much more ready for anything that can come and get us. Well, we had really hoped we were going to bring you epic footage of blowing snow and plowing, but yeah, it turned out to be nothing but rain. But there's 2 other snow events expected in the next week or so, so obviously we're going to leave everything set up until springtime. Just kind of a letdown. Fortunately, we didn't go out and buy 50 gallons of gas, 10 loaves of bread, and 5 gallons of milk. So, feel free to like the video if you enjoyed the content. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And we'll see you on the next episode of Abby Normal Garage.